Thank you. Thank you for coming out to Strelka on this lovely day. It's my pleasure to introduce the second group of 4 projects that represent the research that we've conducted in the New Normal postgraduate program and think tank here at the Strelka Institute in this second of our 3-year cycle. Yesterday we saw 4 really extraordinary projects, and today I think we will keep the level at least as high as well. And so I also want to first of all thank all of the students and researchers who have been part of this program, to thank the Institute, the education team, Olga, Nikolai, Masha, Elena, and everyone else without whom this whole program would not have been possible. So I'm going to say a few words about some of the themes that we've been exploring over the course of this really intensive 5-month program. But before I do, I want to introduce the critics who have joined us here, have come from way away to join us and be part of this conversation. So we have Denis Leontiev, architect based here in Moscow, head of Strelka KB. We're joined today by Varvara Melnikova, CEO of the Strelka Institute, Anastasia Smirnova, architect based in Moscow and Rotterdam, Ben Cerveny, designer and technologist based in Amsterdam and Los Angeles, Jennifer Leong, architect based in New York and Cambridge, Etienne Turpin, designer and theorist based in Jakarta and Berlin, and Patricia Reed, theorist and designer based in Berlin. So thank you very much for joining us here today. We look forward to continuing the discussion that we've done so. So the projects that you'll see this afternoon draw on some of the research and discourses that we've developed together over the course of these weeks. Just like some of the other projects we saw yesterday, the role of the design of models and the agency of models and how those models structure the possibility of design is an area of intensive interest for many of these projects. In particular, again, the questions of simulations, the coherency, the closure or openness of simulation systems, what is that particular systems and models are able to sense and not sense, how they categorize and understand the world, and how through this understanding they set in advance the possibilities through how those models may become tools for design. In other words, quite quickly, the question of data becomes inseparable from questions of ontology. Ontology in terms of what constitutes the reality of the circumstances in which we seek to intervene, but also the agencies of those ontological systems and how they, in different ways, speak through us. And as we discussed yesterday, one of the perhaps fraught conditions of our moment is one in which the competition over the status of the real and its ability to adjudicate the circumstances in which we are embedded opens a question in ways that we seek to address, perhaps. We'll also see a number of projects that deal with the questions of technology more directly, but we take technology not just as a set of tools that make certain things possible. The appearance or emergence of particular technologies is also always comes with kinds of disclosures. Technologies disclose things that were always already there, that we perhaps couldn't have seen without those tools. And so part of this discussion is not only what the technology enables, but what the technology tells us. All of this, in a way, is really leading to the question of what constitutes the agency of design. Not just a design agency, but when design becomes designation, what the positions of that agency, in fact, are. So, with that, let me say a few words introducing Seiche, our first project for this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. So as mentioned yesterday, one of the our areas of interest within the program is the city, but also the geopolitical context in which the design of cities always takes place. We're also very attentive to the privilege of conducting this program in Moscow and in Russia. And in this year, our attention was moved eastward, looking at Russia's relationship with its eastern neighbors, particularly China, and looking at the future of Sino-Russian relations as a kind of foundational context in which the larger scale territorial design and urban design will play out. In particular, China's Belt and Road Initiative, which is of interest to us both in a number of ways, as what will prove to be one of the most significant logistical arteries throughout the entire Eurasian subcontinent, but also the fact that in certain respects it exists as an idea before it exists as an infrastructural reality. It's a kind of work of state-level speculative design around which enormous financial, cultural, political, and economic investment and mobilization is taking place. It also, much of it happens to run through many of the former Soviet republics. And so as a shift of balance within the geopolitics of the Eurasian subcontinent, it's of particular interest to us. Seiche is a project that starts with an understanding that many of the conundrums and controversies over the status of citizenship and sovereignty are ones that are being fought over through infrastructural means. That the conflicts over citizenship in many ways already conflicts over infrastructure, and is looking for ways in which we might think about terms of citizenship that are not so binary, that are not say, in or out, but maybe based on other kinds of gradient conditions, and looking also at ways in which the infrastructural systems are themselves dependent upon formal protocols, codes, legal codes, software codes, that make the operability and the interoperability of those infrastructural systems possible in the first place. How can they then also be transposed, migrate, repurposed in order to solve some of the questions about the status of citizenship as well? And so I think this is a really extraordinary proposal, a really amazing work of design research as well. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Seiche.
Hello, my name is Tomás Clavijo, and I'm an architect and strategist from Spain.
My name is Mikhail Anisimov. I'm product designer based in Moscow.
My name is Yulia Gromova, and I'm a journalist from Moscow.
My name is Andrei Zhileikin, and I'm a lawyer and an artist.
Hi, I'm Katya Sivers. I'm an artist from Moscow, Russia. And together we are Seiche, and we are trying to redefine sovereignty through system synchronization. Traditional conceptions of citizenship are in crisis in a world of transnational flows, infrastructural systems of global scale, and overlapping nested jurisdictions. Talking about sovereignty, we should say that sovereignty and citizenship, as we understand them today, were traditionally rooted in territorial belonging and connected to the idea of nation-state, which is still a basic element of the world's political architecture. But today, the idea of nation-state is transforming, and national citizenship is in crisis. Transnational flows of people, capital, goods, and information continue to expand, and those flows are sustained on infrastructure systems.
In most cases, conflicts over citizenship can be understood as a conflicts over infrastructure that manage those flows. In a world where overlapping nested jurisdictions, special economic zones, international trade agreements, etc., became a new norm,
we understand access to transnational flows and mobility through infrastructural systems as key factors defining your status as a citizen. Mobility and access are controlled by law and legislation in very specific places.
Borders, controls, and switches are the touch points between jurisdictions and infrastructural spaces. In these conditions, the actions heavily rely on processes of information exchange, and we might not be able to influence the way a certain jurisdictions work, but we can rethink the way they interact with each other.
Seiche is a platform that enables the design and management of technolegal procedures of information exchange. Our story starts in Kyrgyz, Kazakhstan.
In order to understand the cross-jurisdictional condition and ground our proposal, we went to Kyrgyz, Kazakhstan. It is a logistic enclave in between two countries and two infrastructural realities. It is an urban ecosystem consisting of two special economic zones and a Kyrgyz dry port.
It is also the cornerstone of Belt and Road Initiative, that is an investment plan that aims to create a strong Eurasian trade zone, and that is the biggest global infrastructural project today. We let you with our state of research, and we introduce you to Seiche. Thank you.
Citizenship and sovereignty were traditionally rooted in territorial belonging. But as transnational flows of people, capital, goods, and information continue to expand, this conception is undermined. Current crisis of citizenship can be explained as conflicts over the infrastructures that sustain these flows. Belt and Road Initiative, a Chinese-led long-term plan to generate a Eurasian trade zone around the old Silk Road, affects 65% of global population and is the most ambitious contemporary infrastructure project.
我叫陈俊，是黑云外销部的主任。黑云主要产品包括电子及手机配件，最大市场有法国、西班牙、意大利、德国等。政府刚提出共建一带时，也引起了不少忧虑。倡议中还有不少的商业计划线，陆上、海上都有。但以当今实际上看，通过哈萨克斯坦的新铁路线，对我们业务造成的影响也不小。线只需14天把货物运到欧洲，之前还得1月半呢。中国和独联体有不同的铁路宽度，中联货物车厢兑换都在那。经过霍尔果斯的货物主要来自中国联运港，这2个港口共享数据库。
Kyrgyz Dry Port is a logistic enclave between two infrastructural and political realities. Automation of logistics in border condition relies heavily on cross-jurisdictional interactions, shared databases, and the implementation of sensing systems ruled by code. Seiche is a platform that enables independent organizations to design and manage techno-legal procedures of information exchange, acting as an interface between legal and data workflows.
Ну, если просто перевести груз или реализовать его в другой стране, просто перевести груз нужно пройти таможенный контроль. Но одно государство отвечает за безопасность на территории, другое, и когда ты входишь к кому-то в дом, тебя как бы на входе проверяют. Типа, да, мы с тобой теперь подружились, и теперь в безопасности. Вот. И они, вот эти люди, пользуясь своими там внутренними инструкциями, одетые в определенную форму, используя технические средства, как там досмотровые установки, там, паспортный контроль, они контролируют поток людей внутрь. Ну, товары, они обычно там в портах, там таможенные склады, и таможенники выборочно проверяют какой-то там склад, они все там проверить не успевают, их там не так много для этого. Ну, различные службы, если они где-то сотрудничают, они, как правило, заключают там между собой соглашения, то есть, что они дружат базами данных, ну и вообще там, ну и вносят поправку в закон, и появляется там, что теперь у них единая база данных, или там, у нас службы это как отдельные юридические лица. Это нет такого, что это государство. На самом деле каждая служба функционирует как отдельный.
Мен вақтылық жолмен жұмыс істеймін. Әр 2 ай сайын келіп тұрамын. Күніне 2 рет шекарадан өту керек болып тұрады. Кешкі 7-ге дейін өтіп үлгермесең, құрылыс жерінде ұйықтау керек болады. Өзімнің кім екенімді сіздерге қалай айтсам болады? Бұл не? Мен қайда тұрамын? Әлде мен қайда жұмыс істеймін? Немесе менің ата-анам қайдан келді? Менің жанұям интернационалдық. Мен өзім араласқандығымын. Менде ұйғыр, орыс және қазақ қандары бар. Мен көп жерде тұрдым. Ресейде, тмд елдерінде тұрақтап араладым. Ұйғырлардың жері де туы да жоқ демекші, менің де дәл солай әрбір жерде кішкенеден тұрып қайттым.
Customs, borders, switches, checkpoints and controls are the touch points among systems. The management of exchanges among them is a complex task. An extra layer of difficulty appears when systems use different information protocols, track entities of a different category, or simply speak a different language. Legislation is a way to program society to function in a particular way. Every set of rules can be represented as an algorithm dealing with particular classes of objects. Seiche acts as an interface between legal and data workflows by translating laws into object notation network structures, a machine-readable format. It allows the interested parts to visualize and modify those representations, consequently generating an actualized version of the legal text in natural language. The code that will manage the sensing apparatus that process the exchange, and adding them to a techno-legal procedures repository. Once ontological derivative structures are defined, Seiche allows to map the history of procedures a particular entity has interacted with, to simulate the motility of any particular entity or association of entities through a particular procedure, and ultimately, to map the emergent network of procedural sovereignties, the use in time and space of a particular set of exchange rules.
Whenever you want, you can ask questions. Just a small reminder of the things that we just have seen. This is the topics that we have been researching on, and those are some of the concepts that we are working for our platform. Law as an algorithm, nested regulations that form a complex topology, ontological analysis for object classification, visual programming for data workflows, text to code and code to text, and some kind of system of visualization that allow us to use the tracking of particular entities to visualize broader systems. In this particular case, the network of emergent sovereignties. Thank you.
So thank you so much for this really rather incredible project and a fantastic start to the afternoon.